Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another PFL fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for PFL Austin, Eblen versus Kasanganay 2. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get on down to the first fight on the card. First fight, we have a women's fight in the women's strawweight division. We got Mia Grawl versus Ashley Thinner. And how do I feel about this one right here is, don't really know or care. Go Thinner decision. Like, she wins, she loses. I could care less. Next fight we got in the bantamweight division, we got Luciano Pereira versus Brandon Davis. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go low confidence Luciano Pereira to beat Brandon Davis. So I don't really know enough about Pereira to truly rate him, but I know Brandon Davis was formerly in the UFC some years ago, like 5-6 years ago. You know, he didn't leave on a good note. And as you can see his record, 15-11. Well, I say 15-11, 14-11. Close to what I was assuming. He's been doing a lot of losing. And he's at that, deep into that journeyman stage of his career. And Pereira, young, packing power, has a lot of upside behind him. I think Pereira's able to get Davis out there. I'm going to say early second round knockout for Luciano Pereira. So in this one, I have Luciano Pereira via second round TKO. Now the next fight we have in the women's flyweight division, we got Victoria Alba versus Borena Swertvazi. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go average confidence Borena Swertvazi to beat Victoria Alba. Alba has not tested herself at all, and I'm not really seeing the skills from her or the experience or the talent from her just yet. With Borena Swertvazi, we have seen her test herself against Jenna Bishop. Alba didn't go away, but I like the fact that she did it, and I like the level of competition that she has fought and beaten outside of Jenna Bishop. And yeah, it's just levels to this, and I think Alba's not there, and Borena has tested herself, and it will show that. And I think she runs through Alba, and I think she gets her out of there in the first round via submission. So, in this one, I got Borena Swertvazi via first round submission. Now, the next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got Jackson Glass versus Zach Places. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Jackson Glass to beat Zach Places. Just don't really see nothing I like at all about Places. I just think Jackson Glass has more upside. So I'll lean him by decision. Not more, not less. So in this one, I got Jackson Glass via decision. Now, the next fight we have in the lightweight division, we got Biagio Ali Walsh versus Gadmid Kizriev. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go average confidence Gadmid. I don't know why I'm butchering his name, but anyway, average confidence Gadmid Kizriev to beat Biagio Ali Walsh. Oh yeah, Ali Walsh has one loss, and even another one of his wins, but particularly that loss, showed how terrible his grappling defense. His wrestling was weak. His grappling defense was even weaker. And going in with a wrestler and grapple like Kizriev, this is a bad sign. And I have not seen any reason to say, oh, his grappling has gotten any better or anything that. It's not even like his striking is that phenomenal. Yes, you're the grandson. You might got like, what, 1% of Muhammad, you might got like 1% of Muhammad Ali's blood in you or whatnot. Even though I'm probably stretching that a little bit. I mean, I'm not stretching, I'm exaggerating it. It's more than that, but by the looks of it, it looks like he got like, if 1% of even that of Ali's blood in him. But it's probably realistically like 30%. Or 25% or something. But either way. Yeah, his box is cool. It's clean. But nothing spectacular. And his grappling defense is extremely terrible. And I think Kizriev will exploit that. I don't understand why he's taking this match in particular. Maybe he's trying to show something to himself and to the world. But I think it's a terrible match for him to take. And he's still relatively green as far as fighting, like with 4-1. And I know his opponent might be like 4-0. So you might feel like it's balanced matchmaking, but when you got questionable grappling and you're going to fight a Dagestani, that don't make sense. I feel like, I've been working on my grappling, I did this and beat this, I gradually worked my way up here, now I'm ready to fight a Dagestani, or maybe I work my way up here, and I'm going to catch a Dagestani who's green too, or greener, and I'm like 15-1 now, 15-2, and my takedown offense has improved a lot, and his Dagestani fighter, like, yes, he's got phenomenal grappling, but my takedown offense is solid, and his cardio is questionable, his durability is questionable. This is a good matchup for me to take, but you take a guy like, y'all similar levels of skill, similar experience. Well, I'm going to say similar level of experience. And stylistically, he has a big advantage over you. So, I'm not saying I think Gadmid Kizriev runs through him. And I'm going to say second round submission for Gadmid Kizriev. So, in this one, I got Gadmid Kizriev via second round submission. Now, to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, women's flyweight division, we got Andrea Vasquez versus Alexandra Sabachiva. And how do I feel about this one right here? Don't care. Her decision. She wins, she loses. It don't matter to me. Next one, we got in the lightweight division, we got Sergio Casio versus Colton England. And how do I feel about this one right here is they're both really journeyman. Both of them are really unmiraculous by all means. But I'll go Colton England here. I feel like he has less baggage at the moment. Casio riding like a 3-5 losing streak. And Casio kind of guy like, I think he's impressed me more in his career than England has. But the thing about Casio is, I guess it's probably one time when he could be the most dangerous. He's most dangerous when you sleep on him. Then he is dangerous. But when you don't sleep on him, he loses just like you expect him to lose. But when you sleep on him, he shows up. So I guess he cares more about having that respect than actually winning. So he cares more about respect. So when you respect him, he'll lay down. You don't respect him, he'll show up and look like a savvy, crafty veteran. And again, they're both similar skill level. Both the guys are not going to touch no belt, sniff no belt. Talented, well-rounded, experienced, and all that stuff, but far from the best. You know, they can have off nights that they can be super hot some night, they can be super cold night. Like they're like, no, you got your UFC journeyman. These are PFL Bellator level journeymen. Like they're journeymen in these leagues and whatnot. And yeah, at this level, I guess. So they're journeymen at this level. Now, UFC level journeymen, they're like PFL, Bellator, you can even say 1FC, Risen level journeyman. But yeah, I go England. I just feel like he has less mileage, less baggage on right now. And yeah, I'll go decision Colton England. Let's go with the guy who I feel has less baggage. So in this one, I got Colton England via decision. Now, the next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got Jesus Pinedo versus Levi Saul Marroquin. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Jesus Pinedo to beat Levi Saul Marroquin. So in this one, Pinedo has more baggage. He's coming off 2 bad losses. But luckily for him, in that sense, he's not fighting a guy who's going to have a grappling advantage or not a significant grappling advantage. Like, so Pinedo should be the better grappler. He should have the advantage. And he's not going to a guy who has a significant grappling advantage. He's going to a guy that's a specialist, a striker. So he might go with a guy that low-key might be a more technical striker than him. Maybe. We'll see. And karate combat striking is different than, and even Muay Thai striking and boxing striking. All bare knuckle is different. This is different. But, you know, all that stuff is different from, they all got the difference. So MMA striking is different from those. So he might be might probably beat him in karate combat, might beat him in pure kickboxing, but you also got to factor this is an MMA fight. And Pinedo has had a lot of success in MMA striking, in MMA fighting. Levi Saul Marroquin, this is a big step for him as far as MMA. And I think Pinedo, again, he's not going to deal with a guy that's trying to take him down. He's not going to deal with a Dagestani wrestler. Yeah, he's not dealing with a Dagestani wrestler. He's dealing with a Mexican striker. And I think Pinedo can outstrike Marroquin. Also, I think he can mix in the grappling and beat Marroquin by this. I think Marroquin will be game. You know, definitely be dangerous on the feet. But I feel like Pinedo could extend him and force him to work and have to deal with other things other than just striking and use his experience at a high level here in PFL to beat Marroquin. But I think Marroquin will be game. He'll make this a good scrap. But I think Pinedo's experience and skill at this level of PFL will shine through. And I think he beats Marroquin by decision. So in this one, got tongue tied there. But yeah, in this one, I have Jesus Pinedo via decision. Now to the next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got Kaolin Louron versus Julio Arce. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go low confidence Julio Arce to beat Kaolin Louron. We've seen Louron win, we've seen him lose. He's a short, squatty, white, Incredible Hulk looking dude. Got a little bit of power, but technique's very stiff. Really, he's stiff in general. Like, he got a little bit of power, but nothing crazy. He's strong, but nothing crazy. He grappled, got decent cardio, got a sturdy block head. Matter of fact, he got the same head shape as, what's that dude from Tiny Soldiers? What's his name? What's that guy name? But like, this matter of fact, just paint his hair white and you know, you'll see it. All Gorgonite scum must die. What's that guy? Chip Hazard? I think it's Chip Hazard. Yeah, he literally just paint his hair white. He got the same exact head shape, same exact jaw structure. Just paint his hair silver or gray, and you're like, oh, he looks just like that toy from Tiny Soldiers, the leader of the U.S. Army or whatever the Army was in that little toy series or whatever from that movie. But by the way, yeah, he's stiff. But I think Arce has good enough grappling to address the grappling of Louron. Also, Louron doesn't really have that much experience at 45. I feel like he's best at 35. So he's fighting 10 pounds up. So he's going to be give up more or less. He's going to be even less strong here at 45, I think. I think Arce will be able to address the grappling and be similar to people that have beat Low Ron before. Again, be able to dress the grab to keep the fight on the feet. He has much sharper striking than Low Ron. He'll be much longer, much quicker, much sharper, much more technical on the feet than Low Ron. And then also not like Low Ron, he's not that phenomenal of a grappler or a phenomenal wrestler. And it's not like he got big power either. So Arce will be the bigger man here. He'll have solid enough takedown defense to keep this on the feet. He'll have the better striking arsenal. He'll be more fluid. He'll be quicker, and he'll be bigger and stronger here. I think Low Ron makes it competitive. I think Arce will be able to win a clear decision by, again, addressing the grappling and then just landing the much flusher strikes and dictating the pace of this fight much better. And I think And I think Julio Arce beats him by decision. So in this one, I have Julio Arce via decision. So slow it down. Slow it down. The video's not running away from you. Slow it down. It ain't going nowhere. All right, next fight we have in the bantamweight division, we got Louis McGrillen versus Rafael Do Nascimento. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Louis McGrillen to beat Rafael Do Nascimento. Tough matchup. But going with the youth here, McGrillen is nearly 10 years younger than Do Nascimento, but they have similar levels of experience as far as pro fights go. Nascimento might have been fighting longer, but as far as total fights, pro fights is roughly, again, pretty much identical. 12-1 versus 12-2. He got one more fight and it's a loss. But yeah, Louis McGrillen. I think McGrillen's youth will be in his favor. I think he has better momentum right now. He has a hotter streak behind him. I think he'll be able to land cleaner shots, push the better pace, and again, use that youth to his advantage and be able to outwork and outgrind Do Nascimento to a decision. But again, Nascimento has solid power. I think he has a better resume, but I think McGrillen's going to be able to build a better resume. And again, I think he's younger, and I think in a fight where, I feel like on paper, it's a very competitive fight, and they match up very well across the board. I think youth is going to be the biggest advantage here, and I think McGrillen's going to be able to push the better pace, dig a little deeper, and win the minutes better or win the moments better in a close fight. And I think he beats Do Nascimento via decision. So in this one, I got Louis McMillan via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division for the interim middleweight championship, we got former middleweight champion Johnny Eblen versus Impa Kasanganay 2. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'll go low confidence Johnny Eblen to beat Impa Kasanganay again. The first fight was very controversial, very close. It went the distance. But at one point, Impa Kasanganay early on in the fight had Johnny Eblen hurt and nearly finished him. But Eblen rallied and was able to wrestle him up to a decision victory. But they rematched again. And I think Johnny Eblen beats him clear this time. I think Johnny Eblen stops him time. It's like a 4th round submission for Johnny Eblen. Kasanganay is still dangerous. But there's some performances from him, win or lose, that I did not like recently. Particularly one of his wins recently that was worse than some of his losses. In the fight, he struggled with a bigger wrestler and then had to rally and get a finish. Now he's fighting Eblen, who is, again, a bigger wrestler, much more talented than the guy he fought, much more fresh, right in his peak, only getting better. And I think Eblen, and that's also in the Eblen fight, he hurt Eblen, had him dead to rights early on, but Eblen was able to rally and win pretty much the rest of the fight. So you had your biggest moment, your biggest opportunity, weren't able to do with it, and he was still able to rise through and beat you. So in all that fight, you were able to have a moment and couple little sequences here and there. But for the most part, you just had a moment in that fight, and you weren't able to do so. All you really take from the fight, you had a moment. You're going to try to chase that moment again here. But Eblen, I think, would have learned from that fight. Eblen does good in rematches. Also, given the fact that he just lost his belt not too long ago, he's trying to make adjustments and prove himself. I don't think Eblen's going to be so quick to slip on a banana pill. I'm not saying that he needs to slip on a banana pill for Kasanganay to win. Kasanganay could definitely win. Coming his best, give his best, he could definitely win this fight. It's not no fight. That's why I'm low confident. I'm not saying, he's going to lose for sure. This is a close fight. But, again, given what happened last fight, again, Kasanganay has moments, and that's all he had. And Eblen was able to battle through adversity. He went through the worst case scenario and was able to win. So, even facing the worst case scenario, he still was able to face that adversity and come back and win the large chunk of that fight. He might have lost like 2 minutes of that fight, or 3 minutes of that fight. Or you can say he lost a round because of that, what happened. But as far as minutes, he might have lost like 2 minutes of that fight, or 3 minutes by a stretch. So, but yeah, I think this time around, Eblen will have sharpened his striking up, sharpened his defense up, be able to pick his shots well, be able to wrestle Kasanganay, grind him out, and eventually break him down over the course of the fight put in like his true middleweight frame on Kasanganay. Kasanganay really is still like a welterweight. He's trying to fight at light heavyweight at time, fight at middleweight sometime, but truly his build is a welterweight. He's a smaller guy, and Eblen's gonna be able to push the pace on him, put a wrestling grind on him, impose his size on the smaller Kasanganay, then eventually break him down over the course of the fight. And I see a late 4th round submission for Johnny Eblen. So in this one, I got Johnny Eblen via 4th round submission. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for PFL Austin, Eblen versus Kasanganay 2. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace. Or peace. Or peace. Or peace. Or peace. But yeah.